What's up, my Makokos, Raid Pros, and Bonk Bros? Defender here, and welcome back to another video. So today, I just want to be really quick on this because we only have a few weeks really to take advantage of this situation. And of course, we're back with a reset again every week, and we have Twinkle Twinkle, the loot's refreshed, which means, of course, the legendary engravings are getting pumped into the market again. And whether or not you're buying them and risking the RNG that I've discussed in my previous video about the worth of the packs, and as the weeks continue, the prices will depreciate. Whether or not you're getting involved in that, now is a good, well, as good is an understatement, the best opportunity you're going to have since the launch of the game to get the best price on engravings that you might need. Now, if you're like myself and you play a variety of characters, I've got, 6 main ones and then some subsidiary ones that I use for Lopang, and I'm planning on taking them up later in the future. You don't have all the engravings for every character finished, and you maybe just focus on one for your class, for example, and then you have a good one for your account, maybe like Grudge or something cheaper. That's what we need to talk about today, and that is the value of the engravings right now being so low is the perfect opportunity to invest. But before we get into today's video, you guys know the drill with YouTube. If you like the video and you appreciate the content, please consider dropping me a subscribe. Let me know down in the comments down below if there's any ways that I can improve the video, or if I've got something wrong maybe, or maybe you just want to share your opinions on the matter. I always appreciate hearing from you guys. Your feedback is incredible. I'm taking on board everything you guys are saying, and I try and communicate with you guys as much as possible in the comments down below. And so yeah, if you like the content, please consider doing any of those. I'd really appreciate your support. We're going to keep growing as a community, and I want to keep delivering amazing content to you guys. But anyway, let's get straight into the video. Enjoy. Now, you might be spending your gold every week on all your characters on Twinkle Twinkle to get your resources, and don't get me wrong, that is still a fantastic opportunity. But if you have disposable gold, I would say right now, hold off on buying the legendary engraving books from Twinkle Twinkle unless you're looking to gamble on a profit. But actually, if we go to the store, we can see that Wednesdays, like I said in my previous video, are the perfect day to find good value on the engravings that you might be looking for. Now, a lot of these obviously are very undesirable, but if we just look for the first kind of class ones, there are some in here that are really good and really affordable. Now, if you're a blue gun lancer, for example, I know a lot of people don't run 3 on this, but right now at its price, you can easily get this to plus 12 for the future. And that's what I want to talk about as an overall arc, which is, we need to think about how we can future-proof our class and what we can do to invest in our classes, right? And a plus 12 book, whether it's combat or class, is one of the best things you can do in terms of spending your money to invest, okay? There's no RNG in that. RNG comes in like quality of your armor and your weapons, and buying card packs if you're looking for a better card set, and honing to a degree. Obviously, there is the arts and energy that will eventually pay off, but there's so many factors of RNG that obviously entice you to spend gold and invest in the game. But actually, engravings are one of the ones that don't require RNG. It is a safe investment that will carry through to as far as the lifespan of this game has gone so far. In Korea, the legendary is still the highest engraving books that you can access. Maybe one day we'll have relic, or maybe even Ancient, who knows, or Sidereal, I think the name is after Ancient. But at the moment, Legendary plus 12 is the highest we can go. And so the fact that we can get hold of these at a bargain is really something you shouldn't be missing. This is one of the once-in-a-lifetime or once-in-a-game-time experience to get hold of some really good ones. Now, I also want to say, when you think about the future classes that are coming to the game as well. So, if you don't already know, Summoner is coming out in a couple of weeks. Summoner is another mage class. It's in the name, it summons beasts and kind of animations of abilities that use kind of beast looks or deities, akin to like a necromancer or an elementalist, or those kind of. There's plenty of opportunity to check that out on YouTube, on some other incredible content creators. But with those future classes coming, like Artist and Summoner and Aeromancer, we need to think about, if you're playing those, Obviously, you can't go ahead and start getting the legendary engravings for the class done, but you can get the one that's going to pair with that, so the combat one, for example. So whether you're playing Summoner and you might want Grudge or Hitmaster or Cursed Doll or Keen Blunt, or whatever the options are, you can grab one of those and start building into that for cheap. As cheap as it's been in a long time. Or maybe if you're the artist waiter, some serious copium waiting for artists to come out, one of the best opportunities right now is Awakening or Expert, and those prices have been astronomically high recently, but with this Twinkle Twinkle event, they're starting to drop massively. I remember Awakening books being well over 10,000 and Experts being up to 6 or 7, 8,000 plus, with botting being at its worst. I remember they were outrageously expensive, and right now 3,500 for Awakening is an absolute steal. You know, it hasn't been that low since really early in the inception of the game, when we were playing back in February, March time, as soon as people realized how much it really was worth. And these prices are going to go back up. Okay, I can't repeat that enough. Once Twinkle Twinkle goes, it's simple supply and demand, right, in economics. Once the supply of all these legendary engravings goes, the prices are going to start going back up. It doesn't matter how many people get some extra drops at the end of their Legion raids or their dungeons or their chaoses or whatever you might get them from. It's not going to be enough to keep up with the from Twinkle Twinkle and dump them into the store and compete at prices. So as soon as that ends in 2 weeks, I believe it is, on around the, I want to say the 12th or the 14th, something along those lines. I'll put a confirmation up on screen in post production. But once that goes, prices are going to start creeping up, okay? And that is the time Belshazzar comes out, and that is the time that we're not going to be getting really that much value anymore for these engravings. As they start to go back up in price, you're going to be regretting that you haven't got them, and people are going to start FOMOing, thinking, oh, they're only going to get higher, I need to buy them, they're going to get higher. And of course that feeds into this kind of that inflation scenario, which we're going to see again that we saw before with the bots. So think about what class you're going to be playing, or the classes that you do play, and what you have left to fill those out. Okay, myself, you know, I have a couple of classes that are Master Brawler. I have a couple of classes that are Ambush Master, and then I have a mix of things in between as well. But for me, Grudge was the go-to option to absolutely buy, and I spent a long time saving up for this. And I made a video, I want to say a little bit over a month ago, maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, when bots were really big in the game, and they were running the Throne Spire, the bridge, and they were dumping Grudge books at a relatively low cost, and they were as low as they'd been in a long time. And so I was buying them up, and I was recommending everybody to buy them before AGS and Spargate put a fix in for the Throne Spire. And surely enough, 2 weeks later they put a fix in, and Grudge books went up to almost 20,000 gold. You know, I was buying them at 6 or 7 and 7.5, 8k gold at a piece, and then they went up to 20k within a couple of weeks. So it was probably the best timing for me. And again, right now, like I'm saying then, I'm saying now, this is the best time that you're going to get in a long time to get engravings, okay? Obviously, Grudge is the #1 go-to for all DPS classes to invest in. So if you have, I would say at least if you have 2 or more DPS classes, Grudge is the go-to investment, okay? If you can afford it right now, the prices have been dropping. It's still one of the higher ones, don't get me wrong, but it has been dropping a lot, and it's nowhere near what it used to be, okay? So as you can see, it's gone down by about 4,000 since the start of Twinkle Twinkle, and every Wednesday it will be the cheapest it will be for that week as well. So maybe consider buying these in a week and a half, maybe a week, because that's going to be the last opportunity for people to dump their Twinkle Twinkle engravings. So hold off this week and wait till next week, and you're probably going to get it even cheaper, but obviously that's not a guarantee. If it's affordable now is the best chance you're going to get in a long time to dump into Grudge. That being said though, Grudge isn't the only option. Like I said before, if you're only playing a couple of classes, or you're playing a lot of classes that all use the same one, for example, Cursed Doll, Keen Blunt, Adrenaline, these are all kind of universal engravings that are cheaper than Grudge that you can invest in if it's suitable for your classes. Okay, so maybe you play all mages. All mage DPS classes love Hitmaster. So Hitmaster is going to be a lot more affordable than Grudge and Keen Blunt and all the other options, okay? Similar to maybe you're playing a bunch of support classes, so you would just need to invest in something like Awakening or Expert. The other thing to consider is maybe the engraving that you play right now isn't going to be the one you're going to be playing all the time. So we have a big soft reset coming up with Belshazzar, and what that means is maybe, for example, right now I'm playing Enhanced Weapon, Deadeye, on this character, okay? So I have myself an Enhanced Weapon level 1 engraving, and that's all I need. And then I can run the rest of my gear can be running at level 3 for everything else, okay? What might happen is, down the line, Pistolier might become extremely viable and something that I want to consider changing. And that's where soft resets give you the opportunity to do that, because you're going to be replacing your whole accessory list with higher level accessories. With ancient accessories, it becomes +6, +3 instead of +5, +3 with Relic. And obviously in the future, that's going to change even more. Maybe sidereal stuff will be, I don't know, +6, +4 or +6, +5. Or +7, +3, something. I don't know, but maybe that kind of stuff will happen in the future. And the fact is, we don't know, so why not invest on dirt cheap engraving prices right now to have both options available? And I did that with Gravity Training. I did that with Berserker's Technique really, really early on in the game. These engravings were really dogged on. They were ripped on by the community, and I remember thinking, because they're so heavily disliked, maybe AGS will consider bringing them back up to par, because they don't want everything to just be considered awful and not invested in. And I remember I bought these for about 200 gold, and these were about 400 gold at the time. I just bought them because everything else was so expensive, and I thought I'll invest in this and hopefully it will pay off. And they did. Both are extremely viable now. I've covered a video on Berserker's Technique, and I'm working on a video for Gravity Training. They're both extremely viable in endgame content. Obviously, they're probably still considered lackluster compared to the other alternative for their class, but both still work, both can still hold their own, and both perform really, really well. And that is because of the class balance patch that we had, which is to say that can happen with every other class down the line as we go as well. So bear that in mind. Don't rule out the other engraving you're not using, because you never know when you might swap to it with soft resets, okay? Because you're going to have to update your gear anyway. Why not consider making the swap when it doesn't cost you any more to invest that way? And it could even be cheaper in the long run. So what I would consider is look at the other engraving you've got for your class. Like, I think I just saw Pistolier was on here, and it's probably very, very cheap right now just because nobody plays it, and people prefer to follow the meta. So right now, Pistolier, 100 gold, okay? So it's been 300 roughly, and it's down to 100 gold at lowest tier, and 200 is what it's been selling for. Why wouldn't I just spend 2,000 gold getting that engraving done and not have to worry about it? And then maybe with Belshazzar, a Pistolier build could be extremely fun. You know, it's not all about if it's the best. You know, it can also be, is it going to be fun? Is it going to keep you entertained in the game to play it longer? Because ultimately, content drops only go so far before you then look at the minutiae of the day-to-day and enjoying the game, and not just the grind, okay? So consider that. I'm considering dropping into combat readiness as well. I'm also considering whether or not I buy up stuff for classes I don't play right now, with the idea that I might play them in the future, okay? So Gunslinger is very cheap right now. I've just finished my Deadeye, purchasing those because that's done now on Enhanced Weapon. The True Courage could be great. I've seen a lot of people run that on their bards in content that's farmable, like Clown people right now. If you're overgeared in Clown, people are running True Courage. Maybe I want to grab the Arthurtinian skill books for the Machinist. Look how cheap they are right now, 88 gold. You need to think about this as an investment, less so than making gold right now, because you can make gold in so many avenues, but this is a once in a game time opportunity to make this profit, okay? So I won't talk about it any further. Just remember, these prices will go back up, so make sure you use these next 2 weeks smartly. Make a list of things you might consider being good account investments and purchase them, okay? Think about the future, think about what you might be playing, think about what might improve with class balance buffs, and think about what other classes might be coming out that you might want to play as well, okay? There's a lot of variables, so take those into consideration, make some smart purchases. Prices are very affordable right now, okay? But that's everything for today. I will see you in the next video. Have fun, guys, and enjoy Reset. Take care. Bye.